Dads are always giving advice, whether you want it or not. But this Father's Day, let's turn the tables on Dad. Joining us tonight is Mike Kojonen from Principal Preservation Services to share some financial advice for dads with kids of all ages. Mike, good to see you, as always.
Thanks for having me.
So you have some advice for dads, some tips, 5 of them. What would be your first tip to maybe new fathers specifically?
Yeah, when you're a new father, just have a baby in the household, and you're probably in debt. Debt with a child, debt with college probably, and a mortgage. You probably need some life insurance. And unfortunately, millennials right now, those young adults who are parents, 3 out of 4 of them don't carry any life insurance. And that's the gap you need. Who's going to take care of your spouse and your kids if you're not there? And I know some people say, well, it's death insurance. I don't want to think about death. There's probably a good chance that you're not going to pass away young, but that's why it's inexpensive. And you get it when you're young and you're healthy and it's cheap, and get as much as you can when you're young. I encourage you to get life insurance.
And that's the first step. So you have the kid.
Yeah.
Then the kids start to go to school. So what's the advice surrounding that?
Yeah, we have school agers as well. And what we've been teaching our children, once they've kind of understand what adding and subtraction is, 5, 6, 7 years old, teach them about money a little bit. And we have a jar system we implement in our household when they earn money. Now, we don't pay our kids for chores. We say chores are part of being part of the household, but if you want to do extra, we'll pay you. And out of that, we do the jar system. You put 10%, you always pay yourself first. 10% goes for savings. 10% goes into giving. We believe in giving 10% of what we make, and then the other part is for spending. So we teach them at a young age this jar system. So as they get older and they get these jobs in high school, then in college, hopefully those things won't depart from them.
And by the time they get maybe that first big job, so let's say they graduate college, they've learned a little bit about money management, but what about that first professional job where they're really starting their career? What's the advice fathers can bestow upon them?
Yeah, your first day of work, you should be planning for your last day of work. So encourage your children to start investing in that company sponsor 401k if they have that, and especially Roth 401ks if they have that as well. I know a lot of children or college graduates say they don't want to start it yet because they want to pay off their debt. Well, don't do that. You need to start investing sooner. If you only invest $5,000 a year at age 25 till 70, you're going to have about $1.5 million in that. But if you wait 20 years and you start at 45 to do that same amount, you're going to have less than $350,000. So it's about that timing and led to that compound growth. So you encourage them to start investing soon.
Now, maybe they hit their 30s and 40s. They maybe start to think they've got it figured out in adulthood, but what can dad still work with them on?
At that phase, I think that's when, as an adult, the patriarch of the household needs to sit down with your adult children and say, this is where our situation is at, mom and dad's. We want to, say, what do we have for finances? What do we have for assets for us in retirement? What do we have for health care? But estate planning, who are the executors, who are the trustees of the trust, who are the durable power of attorneys for healthcare and finance, where are these documents, where are all the statements, who's holding all your assets, investing it, is it in a safety deposit box, is it in a safe in the house, what's the code, how are you going to get to it, because too many people have passed away without sharing that information, and even life insurance does never get collected on because they didn't share that. It's like, putting a jigsaw puzzle together without a picture. It's a big mess. So inform your adult children about your estate.
Those are some of the conversations I'm starting to have, a little bit more of those things I need to clear up. Now, this conversation I'm not having yet, but eventually I imagine I will be having kids. So what might fathers want to bestow upon their children when they reach that point where they're starting their own family?
When your kids are having children and become grandparents, and we're just recent grandparents. And
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun to spoil your grandchild, but we see garage sales going on all over the place this summer right now, right? And I say 75–80% of what you find in garage sales are what? Kids' toys, kids' clothes. They get too much, and grandparents like to spoil your kids, which is fun, but is it necessary? You can go to the garage sale, get it pennies on the dollar because they don't need all that. Why don't you reinvest that into a 529 plan for college or something similar for college? What about some investments so when they graduate from college they have a lump sum to pay off debt or use it for a down payment of a house? So try not to overspoil them. Do it in a way that you can still love them, but it's going to help them for the future.
Yeah, not something just so instantaneous, but something for down the line.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for this advice from a father and a new grandfather for all the fathers out there ahead of Father's Day. Thank you. Now, you'll find more money advice from Mike, of course, on WCCO.com.